Ancestral Tarot. Now I'm starting chapter 3, or let's put it this way, I have started chapter 3 and I'm working my way through it, and I thought I'd better stop and better do a bit of a video update because this is quite a long chapter. The chapter is called Tools for the Journey. Now, of course, when we're talking about Ancestral Tarot, we think it's just going to be tarot that we need, but no, it's not. There's actually quite a lot more. So first of all, Tools for the Journey, and we're going to look at tarot decks. Here in this part of the journey, we are asked to pick out 2 tarot decks that we want to use with us through our journey, one for each side of the family. And if there are adoptions or additions to the family, add another deck, because that means there's more ancestral paths to your family. So I thought, right, I started off using the Deviant Moon to get me through the initial tarot spread that was the journey, and then the other one was, let me just page back, we had the journey and working with the spirit guide. Now we're looking at tools for the Ancestral Tarot journey, and we're being asked to pick out decks. So I was using my Deviant Moon in a beautiful case by Anne Fort. Okay, that's the deck I was using, and that sort of slowly pushed me into this project. Now I need decks that are going to be specific to the task I'm working on. So I have sort of looked through my decks I have here and thought, what would best suit an ancestral journey? Well, my family are Welsh Irish, so it's very Celtic, it's very earthy, and it's something that has facets to it. Okay, so I chose the Universal Celtic Tarot, which I think is going to be really good for one side of my family, the Robin Wood Tarot for another side of my family, and for any facets that I come across, any other paths leading this way or that, because I'm not sure which way they're leading, I thought I would choose a neutral deck, and I chose to use my Moon Baby Tarot because that's very retro. It's sort of modern in a way to us oldies that lived in the 70s, but it's far enough back to be able to deal with ancestors recently passed. So I thought I would go with these 3 decks. So my Deviant Moon is not being put out to pasture, but for this particular task it's being sidelined. And with it being sidelined, if I find I'm struggling with either of these decks, then I'll bring back out the Deviant Moon and work with that. Now, in this part of the chapter, we look at the benefits of using different decks. At this point in time, we are not looking at specific spreads. However, we are looking at how to adapt spreads to suit our readings. For instance, then you may struggle to find a layout. So you sort of think, well, what can I do? Look at it, look at questions you have to ask, and adapt the spread and your questions to fit together and create a little bit of a tarot map. Remember, if you are wondering what decks to use, look at your historical past, look at your origins, your creed, etc., etc. So if we want to look at something that's culturally based and we're not sure that the RWS basically straightforward deck is going to do it for us, and we find that we read easier with other decks and they might fit in with different cultures, go ahead, You can Google tarot and the country name, and it will give you decks that originated in the country that you feel is your biological home. Whatever it is that you relate to use, you might only use one deck in your everyday practice, then just use that one deck for this. I'm using 3 simply because I'm going at this from 2 different angles with a possible third coming in, and that's why I'm using a neutral deck, and I have chosen my moon baby for my neutral deck. So that's using tarot. So then it's spread basics. So you look at what questions do you want to ask. So if it's, say, an ancestor that passed within, I don't know, from your childhood to where you are now, or even just before your childhood, and it might have been a grandparent or a great aunt or a great cousin, and you sort of link up with their spirit, and you're going, well, your question of why did you die, where were you born, what lessons did your brief life and death for me, what did your life and death mean for the family, and do you have any message to give me? So those are questions that you could base a tarot spread on. And remember, tarot spreads carry their own energy. When you make it, you put your energy into that spread. So because that spread is for you and your ancestors, you're putting your energy in, you've got more chance of grabbing answers from your ancestors who have passed. One suggestion is that if you make it a 5 question spread, so that's 5 cards, toss the 5 cards in the air and find out where they fall. That's just a natural way of finding out how spirit wants you to read them. There's so many different types of spreads. Then you've got card making. If you find that you can't resonate with, say, the court cards, make your own cards. So if you feel your dad suits the King of Pentacles, put a photograph of your dad on a card and use that as your King of Pentacles, and that will help you read more intuitively. If you find that the generic look of the King of Pentacles is like, oh my god, I'm not getting anything from this, it doesn't mean anything to me, and it sort of link something that does mean something with it to you, and then work from there. From there we go to using sigils. So now we've used tarot, which is one tool. Now we're looking at sigils, and it's how do you make a sigil. So all through this it tells you how to make a sigil, and with that I'll just pick up my notebook here. So chapter 3 has been mostly reading rather than note taking, and this is where we move on to sigils. And this is very thin paper in this journal. So I've gone through the instructions, and there are 3 different types. So instead of just picking one type, I decided to create one of each type. So this is the sigils are the free form letters. Okay, so in this circle there are letters, although it doesn't look like letters because of the way I've joined them. These are letters to create a sigil for a particular reason that I am doing this Ancestry tarot tour. This is our squared numbers sigil, and basically you look at what number the letter falls in under that you have used, and using the letters will have been explained in this chapter. I'm not going to go through and explain that, you need to get the book to read that. But here we have a 9 square, and each of the letters have been allocated a number. So what we need to do then is look at where the line goes. So 6, 4, 3, 7, 8, 5, across to 4, up to 1 and to 2, and that is the sigil. Okay, and then the last one is using tarot to create a sigil through finding symbols on the card, and it just so happens I shuffled and I pulled the sun. So my sigil is inside a circle. I've drawn the sun, and then I've drawn the flag that the child on the horseback carries, but I've added leaves from the sunflower. So it's all about growth and sunshine and warmth. And then you've got to decide out of the sigils you've drawn which one you're drawn to I am definitely drawn to this third one here. I love that, but I love that one. So that's the one I'm going to be using with this point of the project. The next tool that we're looking at after sigils is the pendulum. Okay, so this is where my note taking stops, and this is where I'm currently reading. So using the pendulum, how do we do it? So what I've got to do now is follow a technique. We've looked at the sigils. I've now got to follow the way we find out if a pendulum will work with the deck. We've looked at a number of tools here, and it's given us a really deep insight into the different tools, and nothing to show you as yet in regards to tarot, but I'm going to close this book. I'm tired, it's a little bit late, and tomorrow we're going to get back to this, and tomorrow afternoon after I've done all my chores, and we're going to look at how my pendulums will pick the deck I'm working with for specific tasks in this journey, and that I will record. So in the meantime, have a good night. I hope what I have said has made sense. It might not do, but it's all, you know, this is the theory side of it. So the practical side for this was drawing the sigils, and I will show you the sigils better when I've drawn them out properly. Take care. Thanks for being with me. Thanks for following me, and I hope you're having a very peaceful time in your life right now. Good night. See you soon. Good morning. It's early as the morning, and it's one of those, you know, where you get up, things on your mind, and oops, sorry, I just bumped the table, and you think, what's going to help me focus? A little bit more work on my ancestry. So I've just carried out my meditation, and we're here back at my table. I've set up my table ready to find out if the pendulums will work with the decks that I've chosen. I can show you how I'm going to work that out. I've taken some tips from the book. There's a lot of guidance within the book, but I'm also adding my own little flavour, and that's allowed because don't forget, the book that we're working through is a guide. As long as you're not going off a complete tangent and turning into something different, we're working with ancestors, and therefore we do need that guide because it's things we might not have done before. I know it's something I haven't done. So I'm taking out some advice on how to lay it out, but I'm just going to work at how I know how my pendulums answer to me, and you will know how yours answer to you. If you have not worked with pendulums before, that's fine. Pendulum class 101. That's not real. I'm just going to show you what I do. Now I'm going to shuffle this deck. Okay. First of all, I'm going to try an experiment before I show you, or will we? Tell you, we'll do that in a minute. Let's just first see if this works. Now, I'm going to ask, first of all, if this deck is going to be something that is going to work with me on this project, or if it is something that I might need to change. Okay, so first of all, let's just put our deck here. Okay, fan out our deck. Now, when I'm using a pendulum, albeit I normally, when I ask it to show me a yes or a no, my yes usually swings left to right, my no forward and backwards. So I know some people have circles and lines, but for me it's always been left to right or front and back. And let's just see if that does it now. This is where I find it, the use of pendulums can be a little bit difficult if you can't keep your hand steady. So I tend to rest my hand on the table. I have the pendulum where I'm literally just holding that ball, the ball at the end of the pendulum there. Okay, it rests it between my fingers. Now, show me your yes. straight away my pendulums are going left to right. Okay. Now, both feet on the ground because I don't want to shake my arm. Show me your no. There we go, forwards and backwards. So we've had left to right, and now forwards and backwards. I don't know if you're getting the directional on the screen, but this is going forward and backwards, and it was going left to right. Now, hanging this pendulum over the cards, is this deck good to work with for my Ancestral Tarot? Straight away we've got left to right, which is our yes, and that's a very strong yes. Okay, that's a very strong yes. Okay, and that pendulum is working with me at the moment. We'll do the same with the other pendulum. This is the Robin Wood Tarot. Right, I'll sit still and get the pendulum still. Is this deck suitable to use on my Ancestral Tarot journey? So I felt my arm twitch then, I'm just going to do that again. Apologies about that, I can just feel a twitch in my arm. Don't want it to influence this at all. Is this deck going to be good to work with for my Ancestral Tarot journey? And there we have it, another yes. It's a beautiful, strong yes. Okay. So that one is staying. Now let's have a look at our moon baby. Okay, is this deck going to be suitable for my Ancestral journey? Oops, my hand moved there, my hand moved a lot there, so we're going to try that again. Is this deck going to be suitable for use on my Ancestral Tarot journey? Left to right again, and that's another yes. Just to clarify this, because we've had 3 nice clear yeses in a row, I'm going to ask another question and see what the answer is. Just pop it out for me. Is the deck that you're hovering over a deck of playing cards with 4 suits of spades, clubs, diamonds and hearts? go, that's our no. Going back and forward. No, it's not. Okay, thank you. Stop there, stop there. Are you currently hovering over the Tarot Illuminati deck? Another very clear no. Stop there. Are you hovering over the Moon Baby Tarot? Left to right. Yes, it is. Just that we could clarify that it is answering correctly. Now, that there. So this pendulum works really well for this task. Will I try another pendulum? I don't think there's any it's necessary to try another pendulum because this one's working straight away. It's one of the two that I'd narrowed it down to, so I will leave it at that. I drew a card from a tarot deck to indicate the one that I should take symbols from for the sigil. The card I drew was the Sun card. So, holding over this one here now, is the Sun card in this pile of cards you're hovering over. Okay, that's a no. Righto. So let's have a look. Didn't get that right. So, why did it not get that right? Unless it was thinking, is it the actual Sun card that I drew? I used a different deck, it was a different card. I wonder if that's the reason. Let's try it. Hold on. So put that to one side for now and just see if it answered me no, because that wasn't the actual Sun card I drew. So let's see if it's picking that up. If I had misled it, so to speak. We'll try it with the deck that I used, which was the Moon Baby Tarot. Put that together there. Sun card I drew in order to find the symbols for my sigil. Is it in the pile that you're hovering over now? Again, that's a no. So let's have a look. That's not there, okay. The Sun card that I drew in order to find symbols for my sigil, is it in the pile that you're hovering over now? Again, you've got a no. So let's have a look. So this is not working accurately. is the card that you're hovering over, the Sun card. It's saying no. So this pendulum is not working with me. Let's try the pendulum I put back. Now, isn't that interesting? It's showing us it's yes and no, but it's not giving us accurate answers. So we'll try this pendulum and see how that works. Do the same sort of thing. And this is where it explains it in the book, where you will find, by doing this activity or this sort of activity, whether the pendulum is working with you or not. And we've just had a clear, as much as it's a nice pendulum and I love working with it, it's not suited for this particular task. So let's see here. First of all, show me your yes. Again, we're going left to right. Can you see that in front of me? Left to right. Okay, thank you. Show me your no. And we're going backwards and forwards. Brilliant. So, I'm hovering you over a deck of cards. Is the deck that you're hovering over the Universal Celtic Tarot? Here we're getting a no. Is it the Robin Wood Tarot? It's a no. Okay. Is it the Moon Baby Tarot? We've got our yes. Okay. Now let's have a look and see if this can pick out the pile with the Sun card in. The pile that you're hovering over, does that have the Sun card in the pile? Getting a no. No, let's have a look. Filter sword. That's not working with me either. Let's have a look. Are you hovering over the Hierophant card? No. Okay. Are you hovering over the Sun card? And there I'm getting a yes. But it's not able to find if it's in a pile. I'll give that one last go. Is it me that's asking the question wrong? Right, I'm splitting this into 4 piles again. I'm going to try a different question because maybe I'm doing something wrong there, but we'll try it once more. Okay, actually we'll stick with the question because there's no point fitting the question to an answer, is it? So let's have a look. Oops. Is the sun card in this pile? Is the sun card in this pile? I'm getting a circular motion, and that circular motion is I don't know, because it's neither forward, it's neither definite no or yes, so a circular motion to me is I don't know. Well, at least that's honest. Let's have a look here. Is the sun card in this pile? I'm getting a yes there. Let's have a look. It should have been a bloody no. Let's see on this I don't know one. It's on the one that said I don't know. So is that one not working with us? Let's try a different one. Put those two there. Maybe I chose wrongly in the beginning. Let's take out this one. Now this is one that I very rarely work with, and the only reason being I find it very clumpy. But maybe, just maybe, this is what is needed. Now we know where the sun card is, okay, so we know which one it should be. So I'm going to go over and ask here. First of all, energize my pendulum. Show me your yes. Like the others, swing left to right. Show me your no. Okay, backwards and forwards. Let's have another look at something. Show me your I don't know. There we go, we're going in a circle. Okay, that's quite amazing. So, I'm going to hover you over a pile of cards. The sun card is in one of these piles. Is the sun card over the pile you're hovering? So my arm moved then. Is the sun card, my arm's moved again. Is the sun card over the pile that you're hovering? I'm getting a no from that one. Okay. Is the sun card over the pile that you're hovering? I'm getting a no again. Is the sun card over the pile that you're hovering? Straight away I'm getting a yes. That's a very strong yes. Okay, now is the sun card over the pile you're hovering. That's a no. And as we all know, the Sun card was at the bottom of that pile. So, is this pile a good pile for letting me know what I'm going to get from my Ancestral Tarot journey? No? Okay. Shall I choose this pile for a message as to what I'm going to get from my Ancestral Tarot journey? It took a while to decide, but then that's a no. Okay. Is this the pile that's going to give me a message as to what I'll get out of my Ancestral Tarot journey? No again. Okay, it's very interesting. Is this the pile that I am to use? Is this the pile that will give me some advice on my Ancestral Tarot journey? That's a yes, but I think I felt my arm shake, so I'm going to do that again. Is this the pile I use for a message about my Ancestral Tarot journey? There we go. A yes. So what I'm going to do here, it's a very strong yes. So what I'm going to do here, this is the pendulum we're going to be working with. One that's totally unexpected. I'm taking the top card, I'm taking one from the middle and the bottom card. Now let's see what they are. What is the message that this tarot deck is going to give me in as advice or guidance as to what I'm going to get out of this ancestral path journey? Okay. Wow. And the Four of Pentacles, the Six of Swords, and Strength. So basically I am going to be delving into new waters, new places, new information that I might not have had before. That the Four of Pentacles has got me there. What is it I'm going to be holding on to? And I think it's holding on to the past, holding on to things that have gone, holding on to what I want things to be. But I'm going to have to say, well, you know, I have to be open to change, because this is a journey that can bring an awful lot of change in how we view ourselves, how we view our families, or not necessarily our family now, but our ancestors, and that this is going to, I'm going to both need strength and gain strength in how this journey is going to go. So we've now worked out that all three tarot decks I've chosen were great. The two pendulums I thought I would be working with for this particular job don't want to do the job. It's a case of finding out which card was it, which pendulum was able to answer about each pile. And this one that I have not used for reading for other people before, I tried it once or twice reading for myself and just found it a little bit clumpy, is the one that's actually found all the answers today. And this message is something that I can totally relate to. I'm not going to be holding on to emotions. I need to let them go. Hold on to what I need, but let things go, but not build up a wall around incoming knowledge and new facts and findings. That the Six of Swords is taking me on a new journey, a new path, taking me into waters or situations or knowledge that I haven't been before, and giving me possibly viewing my ancestry in a completely different way than I have done in the past. And both of those together, this journey is going to give me strength. It's going to need strength, but it's going to give me strength, and strength in my own faith, in my beliefs, in who I am, in me. So that is what I'm going to get from this task. So we've now got our pendulum, we've got our decks. I am not sure which of these I may use, so I'm going to keep the 4 of them out in as far as oracle decks are concerned in my tools as I go. I'm going to leave these on my table because the chances are that I will need more than one oracle deck because one might not suit a question. Okay, so far, chapter 3, tools for the journey. This is it. Sorry, this is rather drawn out, but isn't it great to be able to find that, yeah, they do say no, they can trick us, and we have proved without doubt that these two just didn't want to play ball when it came to working with this tarot, with these decks, for this particular project. So for now, that one lives on my sacred space or my peaceful space, whatever people want to call it, and this one lives in my little pendulum box, and that's going back in there. And this little guy here is going to be left out on this table where all the tools that I am using for this amazing ancestral journey, ancestral tarot, is going to be left out for me to visit every time I have the time. So the only tool that I'm not introducing here is the runes, tarot and runes, because I don't work with runes at the moment. It's something that I am working on personally, but my runic experience, knowledge and understanding is very much in its infancy, so I wouldn't feel confident using that as a tool for part of this journey. So I hope this practical task has kept you entertained. I hope that you have found it informative and that it is something and help that you might need if you too are going on this journey. So please, if you are thinking of doing this, if you want to work along, if you want to compare experiences, not so much notes because all our ancestral journeys will be very different, but if you want to sort of, well, I'm struggling with this, how do I get over that? We can work it out together. Drop a message in the box. Remember, be kind, be courteous, and go with the flow. Take care. Have a lovely day. I am now going to get showered and dressed because I'm in my pyjamas once again, and I'm loving this trip and I'm enjoying sharing it with you all. I don't think there will be another one of these now this side of Christmas. It'll probably be next week after Christmas, between now and the new year. So take care, everybody. Enjoy your festive season, and I'll see you soon. Oh, there's a beautiful big bird flying up there. Bye now. Just a little bit of advice here that I didn't mention in the video. When it comes to choosing oracle decks, that you keep in mind why you're doing the Ancestral Tarot. Are you doing it because you're healing yourself, or you're following some sort of ancestral pattern, from some sort of ancestral patterns? In that case, do you need a tarot deck, an oracle deck that's based on healing, whether it be an angel deck, a light workers deck? It's all around the theme of what you are working towards with your Ancestral Tarot. For me, I'm looking at a couple of different ones because there is sort of healing in a sense, because I think any sort of ancestral work is healing. We're looking at what our families and long since dead relations went through, the difficult times they would have faced in the times that they lived, but also for information and exploration. So for me, I'm looking at a shamanic deck, which I think would be my natural and my native spirit oracle deck. I've got my shamanic oracle that I might draw on if needed, but I'm looking at wisdom. What information do my ancestors want to give to me? So in that is my Hidden Realms oracle deck. Then for the healing or anything that I feel, there may be traits in me, you know, what makes me, why do I get irritated by particular behaviours of other people, or why do I sometimes appear short-tempered? Does you know, where does that come from? And I'm sort of looking at that needs to heal, because that would be maybe an ancestral trait that's carried down. It's not a trait we particularly want. So it's like, you know, working with your light and healing. And then we've got, I'm going to use the earth magic, because I feel that fits in also with healing. You know, we heal from the earth, whether it's using herbs, whether it's using sort of going for woodland, you know, strolls, you know, well, woodland baths, so to speak, soaking in the energy that nature can give us, whether it's the sea, whether we're in the woods, whatever we find helps us. So I feel that the decks that I've chosen fit the tasks that I'm looking for. So when choosing your oracle deck, remember, ask yourself, why are you on this journey? What has made you take this step? Is there anything that you feel either needs healing, investigating, or is it added knowledge? So are you looking for wisdom decks? Are you looking for healing decks? Or are you just looking for decks that can give you a little shove in the right direction? So remember, think carefully about the oracle decks that you choose to use for this.